Enter our protagonist. He's good looking, he's gorgeous, he's in his golden age. His name is Guy Ritchie. Unique background as our guy, Hatfield-born, former clip maker. He used his genius to climb the top of the film industry. It's not easy to forge a path from indie crime comedies to mainstream studio blockbusters. He was a hungry animal, you see, was powerful, ruthless, cunning and quick, charismatic and smart.
Hi everyone, I'm Guy Ritchie.
But his artistic journey was not free of mischief. Strange remakes, scathing reviews and box office slumps, yet he's no wimp, right? Even after the humiliating profits of King Arthur, he had a Disney classic up his sleeve. So, though our guy is not spotless, he earned his time in the spotlight by his blood and sweat. Small cut, please. The outside of a street in ancient Londinium, but it's a film set. Our hero instructs Charlie Hunnam. In the breaks between exercises, yelling and takes, he offers the actor a role in a TV show which he's just about to finish writing. Ritchie created a story about a high society weed seller 10 years prior. He was inspired by the phrase, "While the Queen still lives, England will never legalise marijuana." This gave birth to the idea about the struggle of progress with conservative principles. A cocktail of gangsters, lords, Russian mafia, Mossad crabs and junkies, returning to his roots, so to speak. London, action, machine gun dialogue and dynamic editing. That was how Ritchie pitched the show to Miramax Studios. The bosses loved the synopsis, but didn't want to make a TV show out of it. First, they wanted a full feature, and if it succeeded, then a show would go into production. Pause, a footnote, a red sign that reads spoiler alert. It was successful, and the TV show is preparing for filming. There's no information about the plot or release date as of yet.
I accept that.
But let's return to Guy. The director has lost no time and invited his old friend to the Gentleman Gang. After Hunnam, the ensemble was joined by Hugh Grant,
No.
Eddie Marsan and David Garrick, who had been beaten up by Sherlock Holmes himself. After that, David would choose his opponents more carefully. Guy already had Tom Wu playing a Lord and a George, so this time he played Lord George.
There is a difference.
Some parts Guy saved for actors whom he'd never worked with before.
And now you fucking tell me!
The cast was joined by Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell, Jeremy Strong and Henry Golding, and Kate Beckinsale. Let's fast forward one more time. The actress spent a few days on set and then quit for, well, reasons unknown. And she was replaced by the star of Downton Abbey, Michelle Dockery. Write that fact down in your notebook, but for now, let's return to the studio preparations.
Yeah, all right.
Wide shot, the streets of Agrabah. Here among the hundreds of extras were some of Guy's future partners in The Gentleman. The operator, Alan Stewart, who had been filming for him since Sherlock Holmes, and the talented production designer, Gemma Jackson, who'd built cities for King Arthur and Aladdin, were called in to turn the warehouse into an auto shop and a dilapidated house into the living room and backyard of Ray's mansion. Jackson had to count her pennies since Ritchie's new film had a budget smaller than Disney's US advertising campaign for Aladdin. However, the designer pulled out all the stops for the construction of the underground plantation. Gemma happily made more than 300 fake marijuana plants.
Weed, bush, skunkamola, White Widow super cheese.
After filming, she even took one home to shock and entertain her house guests.
So what is that? Is that a barbecue as well?
Yes, it is, Fletcher. I love a Barbie.
The barbecue in the backyard is also an original design from our hero. He shamelessly used his power to advertise his own products in his movie.
That is a useful bit of plant then, isn't it? So that heats up your knees and cooks at the same time. You've got to show me how to get one of them.
After the picture was released, these barbecues are made to order and sold all over the world.
Oh, fuck me! It's hot.
The entrepreneurial director continued to advertise in other scenes. The characters get drunk on Gritchy, which is made at Guy's personal brewery, and Michael Pearson's headquarters are filmed in Ritchie's actual pub.
Barbie?
What?
I'll have a pint and a pickled egg.
If there's anything the director loves more than advertising his own products, well, it's clothing.
You know, if you know Guy well enough, yeah, he loves directing films, but not as much as he likes talking about food and fashion.
And the costumes are amazing.
Michael Wilkinson helped Guy choose the aristocratic outfits. Last time, he clothed Guy's heroes in silken turbans.
This is a big hat.
No, that is not a big hat.
Before that, he had fashioned loincloths for 300 Spartans, made superhero spandex for the Justice League and the Watchmen, as well as dresses and suits for American Hustle, the closest in spirit to the gentleman.
I believe a sense of ownership is vital in every aspect of life, perhaps never more so than when it comes to wardrobe.
But this time, when paired with the clothing-obsessed director, Michael's work was worthy of any fashion show. The designer had every tracksuit made for the coach and his students, while every time McConaughey appeared in a scene, he was dressed in an immaculately tailored suit, which reflected his desire to depict British sophistication without understanding its history. After filming ended, Matthew was gifted with Michael Pearson's wardrobe.
So what?
I tell you what, Charlie Hunnam took it personally.
Buenos dias.
Before shooting started, he'd spent a magical weekend with Guy where they wandered the oldest boutiques in London, and Ritchie had bought the actor several suits, pairs of shoes and a coat and accessories for his character. Of course, Charlie had hoped that when they'd finished the project, he would receive the clothes as a gift. Instead, the only gift he got was to get the chance to wear them again while filming a TV show.
All right.
Hugh Grant's wardrobe is also worthy of attention and was inspired by the style of directors from the 70s. They also served as inspiration for the character himself.
Roll camera.
The classic Ray-Bans were crucial to transforming the actor into the pushy private detective.
The best private investigator in this smoky little town. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
His vintage leather jacket was tailored and made to look as though he didn't take it off to, well, even sleep.
Thank you very much.
Guy also loved Rosalind's Louboutins. The heels inspired the director so much that he added the scene with her arrival at the shop. Originally, the scene opened with a wide shot of a woman working on the cars. Fade out. Now, let's talk about a colour black, like the one you're looking at right now. Before filming, Guy had a black rehearsal. Instead of having a table read, he filmed the whole film in a day. The interior was replaced with black curtains and expensive equipment was replaced with amateur cameras. The process was something in between a storyboard and cinematics. In the first case, a sequence of drawings represented the planned shots, and in the second case, the storyboard is animated and contains dialogue. This rehearsal gave Guy a draft version of the film which showed its strong and weak sides.
I'm impressed not only by your information, but by your imagination.
As for imagination, we take off our hats to Hugh Grant.
Oh, it's warming up now, isn't it?
Before filming started, Hugh spent months memorising his text. He added a note to each line and movement of the character, but 24 hours before they started filming, the priceless script was stolen. Grant left it in the car and the thieves took it with them without knowing what a valuable thing they were stealing.
Bosh. There will be blood and fucking feathers everywhere, my darling.
There weren't blood and feathers everywhere, but the next day, Hugh arrived on set in a foul mood. He had no idea that the incident from the night before was only the beginning. In the throes of excitement, our hero told Hugh that he had completely rewritten the script and handed him a new copy.
I said, I can't learn any new stuff now.
That's not exactly how you said it, actually, Hugh.
No, it was tenser than that. And the guy said, don't worry, we've got a teleprompter. I said, teleprompter? I'm not a newsreader, darling. I'm an actor.
Should we continue with our little story?
Ritchie loved Grant's transformation and continually magnified his role in the introduction and finale into a string that connected the story throughout.
Was he?
Still, Hugh and Charlie spent only 5 days filming more than 40 pages of text.
Ready? Roll camera. Action.
As for the script, the others didn't really stick to it either. Michelle, who had missed the first few days of filming, I told you we'd come back to her, didn't have to memorise lines. Instead, she was given complete freedom to improvise. In the scenes where she didn't have any lines, Guy would just walk up to her and say, "Your line's gonna be here. Think of something."
Flexible suite.
Or else he'd spend hours writing and rewriting the scene and keep doing takes until he liked the result. This method was incredibly irritating to McConaughey at first.
I've been working on this but then all of a sudden it clicks and you go, actually what he's coming up with is better.
Better doesn't even begin to do it justice. That's how the scene with the confrontation between Michael and Dry Eye ended with Fuck getting shot. The Peking Duck and Law of the Jungle were also improvised right on set.
Where the fuck do you think you're going? Because you're not going out the way you came in, you deluded duck-eating. There's only one rule in this fucking jungle. When the lion's hungry, he eats.
Ritchie filled the picture with minute details which are not noticeable during the first viewing, but during Fletcher's tirade about the movie The Conversation, a replica of the parabolic microphone from Coppola's masterpiece appears behind Raymond's back.
You know, Coppola slipped that one out between the Godfathers. Yeah, it wasn't really for me. A bit boring, to be honest.
In the finale, when the private detective pitches his script to the producer from Miramax Studios, you can see the poster from U.n.c.l.e. behind him. Optimistic fans probably started talking about an impending sequel straight away. The film also contains babies, 6 to be exact. 6 little baby bullets and their mother. A machine gun that was custom made from 24-karat gold.
5 years in prison all in one little box.
Oh, but that's not a gun, dear. That's a paperweight.
The inscription, Hands Across the Sea, is the name of a famous American military march and a small allusion to the events of the film.
Every movie needs a bit of action.
The scene where Michael gets kidnapped copies the finale from The Long Good Friday, frame by frame. It's an elegant and barely detectable homage to the classic British crime thriller. Then we had Ritchie's thing for women auto mechanics.
This is a sanctuary for the ladies.
And for dessert, the appearance of Elliot Sumner in the role of the rebellious daughter of Lord Pressfield.
Your father's asked us to bring you home.
Elliot's parents, Trudy Styler and Sting, helped Guy to make Lock, Stock and 2 Smoking Barrels.
I suggest you take full advantage of that fact.
Cut! Shooting was over, and our hero closed himself in the editing room. There he collaborated with his irreplaceable partner, James Herbert, and they were joined by another master, Paul Maclis, who'd become famous thanks to his work with Edgar Wright on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Baby Driver.
That's pretty fucking impressive, right?
Smash cut, please.
Let's look at the music. Guy explained what gave the scene rhythm, even while he was writing it. Later, he would look through many options before he chooses the perfect accompaniment. The exception was the Bugsy Malone track. It was planned even before filming.
Box in the bush.
For the rapper working with Ritchie, this was his film debut. When the musician found out about the proposal, he told his agent to tell Ritchie that he'd work on the film for free because of his respect for the best gangster film of all time.
Fuck you.
Quite like it when you talk dirty to me.
The Gentleman blew into movie theatres in January of 2020. Its run ended just before the beginning of the pandemic and brought the studios more than $100 million.
Honest money.
In addition to crispy bills, Ritchie was showered in long-forgotten positive reviews. The return to his roots melted even the art's guy's staunchest critics. It was also the last big film that was released in theatres before the lockdown.
I'll have you back to work in short order, my friend.
As usual, our hero's picture was not awarded a single serious award, but he had enough on his plate without red carpets. Fade out.
Hey, do you like our work? Let us know with your like and comment. Push that subscribe button and share with your friends. If you want to support the project financially, become our sponsor on Patreon or YouTube sponsorship. Thank you. Let's move on.